Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we're taking a look at Fast Sloths.
Which is a new game from Friedemann and Friese released by Stronghold games.
It plays from 2 to 5 players in about 60 minutes.
So this is a race game with a kind of a pick up and deliver vibe. It's called a pick me up and deliver me game because in this game you are sloths. And sloths are lazy, but they do want to eat. They're kind of like me.
Yeah.
So the sloths are really lazy and they don't want to move. They just want to be moved around from tree to tree to eat the tasty leaves. They're vegetarians, unlike me, but they are vegetarians and they try to eat leaves. And this game is over when one player has eaten all of their 8 leaves.
Yeah.
So what you're doing in this game, you have a huge game board with different animals. You're going to choose animals at the beginning of the game which you want to play with, and after you play like the introductory game where you put out the animals in a specific way, you will put out the animals at the beginning of the game. And everybody's going to choose a starting tree when they get that leaf on that space. So you start with 1 leaf and you basically want to travel to 7 other trees. So what you do on a turn is that you will pick up cards from different animals. So each animal has a deck of cards which shows a number, which is the number of space they can move when you play those cards. And some of the animals also have different special abilities, and all of the animals have different areas where the territories where they can move. So what you want to do on your turn is that you draw an X number of these cards depending on how many leaves you have already eaten. The more leaves you have eaten, the harder it is to do stuff because probably you're full or something like that, but it's basically a catch-up mechanism. So I draw some cards, maybe I have to discard cards, and then I can play some cards. If I then have gotten more cards of one type, I can play all of those and move those animals. So you will move the animal around, and if he comes close to your slot can jump up to him and be taken away and pick it up and delivered somewhere else. So what they're trying to do is to get closer to other animals or to the next leaf so you can eat that leaf.
Yeah.
And that's basically what you're doing in this game. You're going to continue doing that until one player has eaten all 8 leaves, and he's going to be the fullest and winnest. The most winning sloth, which is the most winning sloth. Yeah, so this is a pretty simple game.
Yeah, it is.
And it has a pretty decent rulebook. It's a pretty small rulebook. No, it's pretty huge rulebook, but it's pretty short. It is about like 6-7 pages, I think like 8 pages here. And basically 4 of the pages is just the different animals and explaining more in detail how they work. 2 of the pages are setup. That means there's actually just two pages of rules, so it's a super simple game. But I thought the rulebook was fine. Nothing really groundbreaking, nothing really good or nothing really bad. So just a good rulebook.
Yeah.
And easy to learn the game, right?
Yeah, super simple.
So yeah, this game has kind of like an older look. If you go back to our vlog in Spiel, you can see us seeing the game for the first time. I like this look. I know a lot of people would probably hate the artwork on this. Where are you on this?
I get like this old like German family style game vibe from it.
Back from the 1990s when
yeah,
we
but
didn't
you
play any
can
board games.
kind of like turn the lid around and expect to see the rules written inside the box. It's that kind of artwork for me.
Yeah,
it has a certain charm to it.
Yeah, I like it. I as I said, people will hate this, but it is this kind of. It's easy to see what's going on. It's not hard to understand. It's simple to understand. Everything is clear. It's more like the board is more like a graphic design thing than it doesn't feel like, oh, this is artwork.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just graphic.
And there's not much art in the game.
No.
Because of that. It's only like on the cards, and I think that it works well.
And the cards also are the same. It's just colored. And then just a little picture of the animal.
Yeah.
And that's it. So it's really like super simple when it comes to presentation, but it works.
Yeah.
It's super simple. It makes it even more, it won't make it like appealing for people to be like, oh, what is this? But it is, if you start to play it, it will be easier to play because it has, it's graphics, like it's functionality over artwork, I feel like in this game.
And I'm really happy that Gloomhaven and Lisboa doesn't have this artwork. That would be horrible. But for this game, yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think it fits the game. It feels like if somebody's going to do this, it's a Friedemann and Friese game. Like a classic kind of weird game like this. So we have played this game at 5 players and we have played it at 3 players.
Yes.
We have not gotten to play it at 2. but I would feel it would be, it would be good at 2, but I liked it at 3. I liked it more at 3 than by 5. It did take an hour, like it took 45 minutes, I think, with 3 players, and an hour with 5. So it is actually about an hour, depending on how many players you are.
Yeah, that's nice.
But when we played at 3, we played with after the first time we played putting out the animals, and that takes like 10 minutes or so. It will go quicker, and we have played many times and you get into it. But the first couple of times it's going to take a little while to do that. So it takes maybe about 40 minutes to play the game, and then 10 minutes to put out the animals. But I feel like there's a good amount of time for this game.
Yeah, I feel so too. I think putting out the animals could be boring if someone is like overthinking the route and really trying to. That could be boring, but just put them out, then go for it.
You have to think like a little bit, because that's the point of it.
Yeah, of course.
But you can't plan anything, because other people's going to move the animals that you put out, and other people's going to do stuff with those animals. So it's not going to be like, oh, I can plan, because if you could plan from the beginning, there wouldn't really be a game. It would just be who planned the best.
But I like that you can actually like set out the animals so you can manipulate your like starting position to be the best as possible, but you can also like trap animals in certain spaces depending on what area type they are allowed to walk on. I feel like it's super simple. It's rules wise, and I also think that it was most fun, as you said, with 3 players. I think that's mostly because there were a little there were less waiting between my turns.
Yeah, because this is a super quick game. This one it feels kind of like a super simple. It's not a deck building, it's a hand building game. Like you build up your hand. It's a hand management game, and you're trying to it's a hand management with the space of the map. So also, like, the more players doing stuff between your turns is going to change up the map more.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you are 3-4 players, there's going to be less chance that somebody's moving away that animal that you need. But sometimes that is also the interesting part about this game, trying to be there first, so I can move that animal before I see that you're trying to move that animal, and I really want to get there first. I'm trying to squeeze in and get that animal moved where I want it to before you can move it away from me again.
Or the opposite. Like, I really need the dolphin to come to me. I see you're going my way soon. Maybe I should wait so I can. I
and you've
like
seen that
that.
I have picked up a lot of dolphin cards. Yeah.
So the timing there.
And I think that maybe works better with 3 and 4 players. I think, like, if you are a family of gamers and you're 5 players, you would enjoy this at 5, because if you play it a couple of times with 5 players, the same 5 players, it's gonna go quicker.
Yeah, that's true.
So always this first couple of times you play, if you play it with a maximum player count, it's gonna feel longer because everybody's getting used to the rules. But this is a super light game.
Yeah.
I can teach this game, like, if you take away the couple of special abilities for the animals, like the core rules of this game, you can teach in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I basically taught it in the beginning. If you had the board in front of you, you would have understood the rules. That's basically the rules of the game.
Yeah.
So a couple of nuances here and there, and also like the special abilities of some of the animals. But it's super simple to learn, so it's a great family-style game that way.
Yeah, and also like the thinking, how you should play, and how like the most complex thing in the game is the special abilities of the animals and how they're working together, and how when you should like target the specific animals. That came out wrong.
Target the animals.
Yeah. Aida.
Okay, so the replayability here I think is pretty good. You have the 2 boards. I know there's like kind of small expansions where you get a new board and some new animals. But in the base game you get 2 halves of the board, so you can flip over, so you have 4 different boards. That's going to change it up a bit. And then you have the, how many animals is it? It's 12 animals.
Yeah.
So you can basically, like, the game suggests that you use, like, you have a table which you can cut out, so you have like 6 cards. And it suggests you use one side of those cards, so that kind of balances the game.
Yeah, that's
true. And that way you have like 64 different versions of the different animals. But you can also, as the game says, mix it however you want. But then it also says in the rules that this might be unbalanced, this might be hard or boring or horrible. Yeah. So you don't know what you get if you do that.
Yeah,
but you can kind of, you have like 64 different ways. I don't think the game is going to be super different.
No.
Because it is the same game. It is picking the cards. and trying to time it and trying to do the race bit. But we don't own many race games.
No.
I feel like this is a pretty cool race game.
Yeah, it feels like a race. It feels like, oh, you have three leaves now. You're definitely close to the next one. How could I minimize the amount of turns to get? Yeah, it feels like a cool racing game.
It's like a racing game at the same time as it is like an optimization hand management puzzle.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that way. So is it fun?
Yeah.
Do you think it's fun?
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty simple, and although you can mix up the animals and the board and stuff, you need to enjoy the core mechanism of the game, because it doesn't. Yeah, it's not that much different. I think also it depends on the players you're playing with, and it's cool when you're a family that plays this game like probably for the 20th time, and you're just like, oh, my dad always goes for the elephant, I'm going to block him now. And you can also hate draft a little by taking the high value animals and just throw them away, even if you don't need it, and then a low number will pop on top. I enjoy that.
Yeah, so there's a little interaction here if you want it to be.
Yes.
The first time I played this game, I really didn't like it too much. It was 5 players and we were tired and all of that, so I have enjoyed it more the other times we played it. It has gotten better. It's still not a fantastic game, but it is like one of the better big box Friedemann Friese games to come for a long way, because these games are kind of a hit and miss. Mostly misses, sadly, in the last years, but this was one of the better ones for me in quite a while. Still no Power Grid, but it is a pretty good game.
Yeah, it doesn't aim to be Power Grid. Power Grid is not, like a much more strategic game. So I think this is a better family game in that sort.
I think like the fun thing about Friedemann Friese, just talk about him for like a minute, is that he makes so many different games.
Yeah.
Like some of them are horrible and some of them are good, but he tries a lot of different things. So I feel like he's doing a lot of experimentation, you know?
Yeah.
Like this felt like a safer game. Like there isn't anything here that's like, ooh, how do you do this? Or like it doesn't feel like he's trying to do something weird with this game.
It's
like
a pick me up and deliver.
The theme is weird, but so I like that. But there isn't really anything here that is like, is he trying to do something artsy or something different just for doing that, which I felt in some of his, some from the other years. But yeah, I like it. So should we do final thoughts?
Yeah, I think we should.
Do you want to start? Should I start?
I can start.
You can start. Final thoughts.
This is a family game, obviously. And I don't see us bringing it to the table often, but I think maybe we'll keep it in our collection, because it's like easy to take to the table, because it's so simple to learn and teach, and we haven't tried all the combos with the animals together yet.
We never will, because it's 64.
That's true. That would be really ambitious. I think this is in the middle there. It's a solid game, but it's nothing mind-blowing for me either, so I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Cool. So yeah, I think that this is a good little game. I'm happy that I liked it more than I did the first time I played it. I like it way better than his last game that he came out. Like his smaller games has been much more hits for me lately. The Fast Forward series, we haven't gotten to play the new one yet, but this was a good game. As you say, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it is a race game, which is something we don't have too much of. We don't have many games that feels like this, and it is playable in like 45 minutes with, I think you can play it in another hour with 4 players, which is good. So I agree with you that I want to keep this game because it is different. It is something that we don't have too many of in the collection, and I'm gonna give it also a 6.5, which is, it's more than average, but it's something that I'm gonna be super sad if I never play again, but we are gonna keep it and bring it out if we have someone over who wants to play a racing game about slots, because then we have that game. So we enjoy this, and if you think that you will enjoy this is more like a family style game, or if you enjoy racing games or lighter games, you should probably go check this out.
Yes.
So that is the end of our review for Fast Sloths.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
And I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.